Howdy, folks. John Weber, 5D New Human here. Boom, boom, boom. The lights are on. Are you resonating in this frequency? You breathe it in. You know that you're alive. You know that you're a human. You know that that life is pulsing through you, and you are fully, fully, fully attached to this new earth frequency. Boom. Our lights are on, man. The new earth is here, and we are loving every minute of it. This podcast is only talking in 5D about 5D and communicating with other 5D new humans. So if you're here, welcome. If you just stumbled upon this, I don't know what brought you here, but there's a frequency that's going to be broadcast through this channel. Because what I do, I breathe in all my love and light and a lifetime of experience and suffering and training and whatever to bring me to this coherent place in my heart, which I call love and light. That's my umbilical cord to source energy, which is God's source frequency. I reside in this frequency, and I'm turning myself inside out, and I'm looking at the world externally through that frequency. That frequency is the 5D New Human frequency. And that 5D New Human frequency is living in the new earth. And the new earth is not a new physical planet. It's just a new perception. Boom, boom. Our lights are on. We're resonating in this love and light frequency, and we're turning our lights on. And that's what I talk about on this podcast. And so today I'm going to give a quick scenario, a thought about what's happening right now kind of in the world, particularly in America. Apparently my system broke here. What's going on? Okay, I had a light on, I thought. All right. Talking about what's happening right now in America and about the politics of America. And I grew up in America, so I'm an American. And I want to give you a 5D perception about American politics. And I don't even want to call them politics because it's just the American system, because the American dream and the American dance and the American culture and everything about America, I'm a part of it. Like it resonates through me because I'm an American. All the information that I'm sharing, I'm telling my 5D perception about my world that I live in as a human being. I'm not here to debate this. I'm not here to argue this. I'm not here to fight this. I'm not here to build a team to support this. I'm just putting my love and light out. And if it resonates with you, awesome. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. You'll click away and that'll be fine. So I was born in Boston in the early 60s. And at that time, there was massive movement, the hippie generation, the love and the peace and love and happy Hare Krishna groups. Everyone was buzzing for love and light and free love, and everyone was partying and life was good. And this love and light movement led to us uniting in our love and light to challenge the machine, which was the government, because the government was supporting the Vietnam War. And we were against the war because so many Americans were dying, and we knew that the cause was just not resonating in our frequency because we didn't feel as if that was a war that we were even a part of. But nonetheless, so many of our friends died in that, and so many of us suffered through that, and so many are still suffering through that, through the consequences of that. That generation that became the hippie generation that resisted and we were against the machine, right? That whole liberal cause, that ended up turning and metamorphosizing into the Wall Street titans, right? They ended up taking over the machine. So that same liberal fire-burning go-getters, boom, they took over the machine. And that led to where we are today, right? And is that a good thing? Of course it is. This is America. Like, right? What is not good about America? So the thing is, the baby boomers, right? They're now exiting the stage of this place. And I'll tell you my frequency story. So I grew up a liberal in Boston. So I was indoctrinated. I was programmed. I was mind controlled into believing, into living as a liberal in Boston, because that's the way the world was, and that's who I became. And then raised my kids, moved to New Hampshire because I wanted out of the chaos of the city, tried to raise my children there, and I ended up buying a retirement place or snowbirding down into Florida. And all of a sudden I moved down to Red, Florida. Phew, what a culture shock, right? So all of a sudden I'm down here in Red, Florida, and it's like an entirely different species. It's an entirely different world. I love this world. I loved my liberal world. I love my world because I live in a frequency of love and light. I always have. Always have. So as I'm going to talk again, I'm talking about frequencies here. I'm talking about frequencies. I told you my story and where I am, but I want to put this narrative into the frequencies that actually travel throughout the American spirit right now. As I resonate with or I resonate against, boom, I'm only sharing my love and light thoughts on this. So I'm not looking to debate it. I'm just looking to share it. And if you have something to share, please reach out, share it. So a large percentage of us liberals who grew up in Boston, and we grew up in the Northeast, we grew up in the city, you know, we were hustlers, man. We were go-getters. We were driving, we were striving, we were animals to make success, right? And many people did, right? And you had to, because you lived in the city and competition was so tough, you had to show up. You know, if you made a phone call, somebody called you for a service call, man, you called them back within minutes, because if you didn't, you'd lose the business. So there was a hustle about the East, and the hustle about the city, and the hustle about that whole energetic frequencies that go with that liberal cause that comes from those who want to be in control. And that frequency, as I'm saying, has now morphosized into the head of America. And the American dream, right, has been manifested by so many people, right? But the machine was built to make money. So everything was built on the money. So the frequency of our system was money. When we moved down to Red, Florida, when that blue frequency, that energetic humans that attained life, they moved down south. And as they arrived down south, they didn't want to talk about politics. It's like, oh man, when you're in the East and you're in the Northeast and you're in the Democrat cities, it's like all it is politics. And you are pressured to be in the right team. And if you're not on the team, man, you are extracized, you are cut off, and you are threatened. You would literally be attacked if you don't support the union, if you don't support the cause, you know, and so you learn to keep your place. We come down to Florida in the red state, and you know, the frequency is I don't want to talk about politics, because my God, I'm down here in red America. They'll kill me, all those racists and crazy people that live in like Florida, like down in Trump country. I mean, they're all just kooky, crazy, insane racists. It's a frequency. It's a frequency. It's a frequency. That boom, 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 that's a frequency. That frequency is a narrative that gets pumped out at us. So of course, this was when I came down here, this was in 2008, and I came down and I'm telling everyone about Barack Obama. And, you know, the natives here, they're kind of like laughing at me, and they're like, Barack Obama? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, they had no concept of what Barack Obama stood for. And yet I knew that he was going to win the election. And I'm like, dude, man, this guy's going to win. And if you can't figure that out. So anyway, years go by, and all of a sudden I'm down here in Florida. And now I am kind of resonating with this red state vibe. I'm kind of catching on to their conservative approach. I'm kind of catching on to their community caring, you know, their friendliness. It's not intense. It's not always debate. It's not always conflict. It's just kind of chill. to give you an example of that frequency of chill, I call to get a quote from my car to get it fixed, or I'm sorry, to do my insurance, right? So I want to do a couple of insurance quotes. So I just dial a phone number and I leave a message. Nobody calls me back. If I made 4 phone calls in Boston to get a service call, all 4 of them would call me back. And not only would they call me back and I'd tell them that they'd call me back 3 more times just to make sure that they didn't miss an opportunity. Down here, everyone's chill. You know what I mean? If they need a job, they'll call you back. But if they don't, it's not like they're hustling. It's not like they care. And it's not like there's any right or wrong in this. It's a frequency. It's just a chill, calm, relaxed frequency down in red America, or down in red Florida anyway, which I can relate to. But anyway, the frequencies again. So this whole aggressive, liberal, hippie generation that was taking on the world and taking down the man because we resisted Vietnam and we've been all a part of this stuff. We're all of a sudden we're moving out of the cities and we're coming to these red areas. And then all of a sudden this guy Trump shows up on the scene. And you know what the liberal from Boston sees this guy Trump. And I'm like, this guy, well, first of all, I would love to have him be the president because he's been a businessman and he's made millions, but he will never be elected president. There's just no way. This guy is just way too volatile and way too flamboyant. And then we watched him in the debates. We watched him dismantle the Republican establishment. He took down every single Republican, and he did it in such massive, entertaining fashion. And it was fun to watch, right? Because as liberals growing up in the liberal, we hated Republicans. We didn't like Republicans. Like Republicans were the enemy because that's the way we were taught. That's what we believe. Like that's the narrative. That's the frequency. So all of a sudden now, all those liberals that had been moving out of the cities, all of a sudden find themselves in the middle red countries. They're all of a sudden loving this guy Trump because he's taken down the Republican Party. So now there's a new coalition. You've got the liberals, you've got the conservatives, right? And you've got those capitalists who think Trump can come in and maybe make money for the country. So what happened? Boom. That was the birth of this New Earth transition. And I say that because there's a frequency of this liberal movement, and everyone's in control, and all those who have power. And those who have power, and I'm going to call them the baby boomer generation, the collective machine that has built our matrix, which, by the way, is not a bad thing. It's just a thing, right? It's our thing. We're an American, right? And every part of America, every single issue and every single thing that's part of America is part of source. It's part of who I am. It's part of who we are collectively. So there's nothing wrong there. There's something wrong if you're giving this point of view, you're going to say that's wrong, but you can be on that side and say that point of view is wrong. You can be on this point of view and say that's down or that's wrong. There's no right or wrong. There's only frequencies. There's only energies. That's what move around us all the time. In 5D New Humans, we see the frequencies. And when we see the frequencies, we develop narratives. And I'm putting words and narratives to this political energies that fly through America. And they're so toxic because everyone is just so triggered and everyone is so upset because that has been a perpetual transaction of what? That big liberal, we're gonna take control, right? And all of a sudden you've got, boom, the little guy. We've got to resist the system because the system is taking advantage of everything. We're taxed too much, right? There's too much violence. There's not enough accountability. All these things that are happening. And all the frequencies, you can put them in every single box. You can say, oh, there's illegal immigrants coming into the country, right? Taking our jobs, right? And all of these are just narratives that just represent frequencies. But the Trump time frame was a major clash because that whole baby boomer machine that controlled America which ultimately controlled the world, was trying to act like our previous history, which was we, the people, were all of a sudden subjugated to government control. We were subjugated to this king, the king. And who's the king? The machine. And the machine, everyone was upset with the machine. And when they were going to force Hillary Clinton onto the scene, there was a movement. There was a vibrational frequency amongst a lot of Americans that said, my goodness, we're not going to go back to that chaos that we went through with the Clinton machine and the whole Monica Lewinsky and all of that stuff. So, and of course, she was guaranteed to win, and everyone believed that she was going to win because the machine was so big and powerful. And of course, Hillary Clinton is going to win by 90%. No one thought that Trump had a chance, probably including Donald Trump. But you know what happened? The frequency of we, right? Whoever we are, right? There was a frequency that said, we don't want this. And when the liberals, the liberal frequency, which I put myself in as that's how I was raised, like I could resonate with that. I resonated with the fact that Donald Trump was just the man. I loved how he dealt with people. I love how he dealt with the Republican Party. And by the way, Donald Trump was a liberal. I mean, he was raised in the Northeast. He's a go-getter. He's a hustler. He's smart. He's 5 steps ahead of the team. And when he came up and took down that whole Republican Party, all of a sudden the whole clan of, we used to call us blue dog Democrats, right? Or the liberal, the true liberal, who and liberals really stand for, I don't want the government. I want to be free. Like, leave me alone. Give me liberty, right? Give me sovereignty. That's kind of what America was this initial individual. We're all about the individual, right? We're not about the collective. The collective is the socialist, right? It's real easy for everyone to want to be in the collective because you're taken care of. The problem is that you're automatically at the bottom and you can never move. You have sovereignty. You have this independent sovereignty, which is what America stood for, that each individual has the right. Each individual, regardless of their color, it doesn't matter. And you can argue that it doesn't matter, or you can argue that the machine's against you because the machine is trying to exercise control too. DEI programs, right? Affirmative action. These were steps that were made. Welfare. All of these steps that were being made, right? We're trying to manage the frequencies of our collective environment. So the clash point was Donald Trump coming into office in 2016, him winning. Oh my God. What an explosion. What an explosion onto the earth. These frequencies. And as intense as it had been prior to, the machine was in control. The machine was in control of everything. When Trump came in, Trump was not part of the machine. Trump was uncontrollable because he didn't have anyone that could tie him down. He had his own money. He had his own intelligence. He had his own wealth. He had everything. And he single-handedly was the sole voice, the sole frequency on whatever it was that he was pursuing. He had this frequency of wanting to go back to what America's founding principles and doctrines were. And by the way, I'm not arguing this, right? This is just a frequency. So there's a frequency about however they think. And whether you agree with this frequency or not, you can just resonate. You can see that frequency exists. And of course, the machine, dude, man, we cannot have this guy. And the stuff is starting to come out now. Not that it's starting to come out, it's been coming out for those who are watching it, right? But for those of us in Blue America, we just know that Trump is evil, he's bad, he's dangerous, all of those things because we buy the narrative. We buy that frequency because that's where we live. But the truth is, the machine took him down. And was it legitimate? Was he taken down because he was defeated in an election, or was the election stolen? Narratives, frequencies around narratives. So ultimately Trump was defeated. So that was it. He was gone. But the machine couldn't let him go. So the machine wanted to take him down so bad that they started to plot against him to take him out, right? And those who were supporting Trump kind of started to feel, even those who didn't support Trump were starting to feel sorry for this guy. Like, man, he kind of came in, he made some changes. And yes, obviously COVID came and that really killed us all. We were kind of going pretty good, but that whole thing happened. And that's a whole frequency in and of itself. And all narratives can flow along that one particular stream of energy frequencies. But I'm just talking about the politics of it. So that's the frequency of the process of Trump's 2016. And so in 2020, and he lost, okay, he lost. So he should have just gone off into the wind, which he probably would have done if they had left him alone. But instead, the machine kept attacking him. They kept trying, they impeached him after he was out of office. I mean, like those types of crazy things were actually adding energy and adding intensity to that frequency field. And when they arrested Trump and they convicted him and all this stuff, and all of us liberals were like, yes, finally, this guy is going down. But the rest of the world and us liberals who had left the blue cities, and all of a sudden we moved down here and we became Trump supporters because we were taking down the man. The same liberals that were in the 60s that were taking on the man against Vietnam, all of a sudden the hippie old men that are down here in the South, we're supporting this man Trump because he is the radical, because he's taking the Democratic talking points, he's taking the Democratic tactics and he's turning them on the party. Yeah. So is that good or is that bad? Who do you talk to? You can get a narrative because there's millions of people that agree with no matter what narrative is presented. These are frequencies that are dancing, right? These are frequencies that are dancing. And right now, so the next step happened. So when Trump came up for re-election, he won, and he won big because boom, boom, collectively, our lights are coming on. Like we're just kind of consciously waking up and we're just like, are we going to live in a system where all of this stuff is just, they can just make up stories that they can take people down? Like it feels like the old English Empire, if you ever watched the series Poldark, and you watch the same patterns, right, of the elite with those with money and how they treat us, the workers, how they treat us, the common man, right? And that's the battle. And the battle in America, because we were all kind of equal financially, we got into this political battle of left and right, but the left overthrew. Now the battle is no longer left and right? It's the haves and the have-nots. Well, in America, we all have, because we're all Americans and we're all created equal and we all have equal opportunities. And so in order to have equal opportunities, right, we need to have a system that is coherent and consistent. And so Donald Trump is going back to what the founding fathers wanted, back to the original independence movement of leaving the king. We didn't want to pay taxes. No more kings. No more kings, right? No more kings. It's funny how many of my liberal friends, and they're at the No More Kings rallies, right? And yet here they are supporting the Canadian movements and supporting the king from England. America was established on the sovereignty of the individual, and that's what we're going back to. Or we're going to the end of the world, or the whole thing is coming undone, right? It's frequencies. So you got to decide where you vibrate, right? And by the way, there's no consistent vibration. You have to vibrate in the moment that you're in. And right now we're in a moment of massive transition, right? The whole world seems to be falling apart, right? But to those of us with our eyes on, we're just watching it all come together. We're just watching all the moves taking place, and we're not trying to judge the moves. We're not involved in the wrestling. We're not trying to take sides. Boom, boom. We're just putting our lights on. We can talk about any side. We can talk with any group of people about any subject because we can resonate with it all. That's a 5D new human perception, right? We're not arguing it. We're just, boom, putting our lights on it. Can you see that that's happening? Can you see that that's happening? That's the 5D perception inside of the 3D matrix. 5D new humans, boom, boom. We have completely withdrawn entirely from the entire frequency field. We're in the new earth. Those frequencies are happening around us. And so, yes, we can go down and we can interact, but every time we do, it drains us. It's exhausting to have to deal with it, with the people who want to argue, they want to debate, they want to resist, they want to fight, they want to challenge, they want to protest, right? It's just so dense. 5 to 5D, man, just rise above it, put your lights on it. And up here, that's where 5D new humans, that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to those up here, those way up here, out of the game. They're out of the system. They're out of the 3D matrix. They're in the new earth. And from this new earth perception, we're the 5D new humans. What we're doing now is we're thinking and we're planning and we're talking about constructing something new. And we're constructing something new by starting from scratch. We get to start the whole new earth, and we've already started it. And the 5D new humans, we're the ones that are leveraging the AI technologies to bring to humanity the very love and light things that we know that we all want, because we all want love and light. We all want to feel good. We all want to be respected. We all want to be treated completely whole and satisfied. We want to make sure that everyone's fed, right? We don't want to live in a world with arguments and debates, right? We're respectful because boom, boom, we realize that every single human being and every single thing that's at 5D with us, right? We're planning the future and we're talking about how to move into the future. Are you ready to talk about moving into the future? Do you have ideas? Do you have thoughts? Do you have business plans? That's the 5D New Human. 5dnewhuman.com. That's a place that we're connecting those 5D New Human ideas. We're talking about 5D New Human stuff. We're sharing our boom, boom, love and light out to the world. There's no agenda. There's no right. There's no wrong. There's no left. There's no right. There's nothing but light. Just boom, bring your light. Bring your frequency, turn your light on, share your light to the community. And as each human being drops their light onto the table, we don't argue. We just boom, 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 boom. Every point of light adds more coherence to the frequency. And pretty soon you get to the point where bang, you're in 5D and you realize that you are that frequency, that frequency is coherent and that you don't need to be attached to any narrative. You're just fluid. And when you're fluid, you work wherever you vibrate. And so you go where you feel amazing and you do the things that make you feel amazing. And that's what we're donating into our new earth creation. Our love and light, that abundant heart frequency of love and light, that is an unlimited supply. It's unexhaustible. We can never use our love and light. We can never spend our love and light. Because the one thing about investing your love and light, it feels amazing when you're giving out your love and light. So you can give and you can give and you can give and you can give until you become so tired you have to go back and you go to sleep. You turn down, right? Wake up the next day, you just invest your love and light. We're no longer trying to struggle to try to make a living, trying to get a job to make a paycheck. When we know that's the old machine, that system is broken. So we're creating something new. And the tools are there for us because the AI is what's going to allow us to do that. So we're going to develop new money systems. So when it comes to transferring money and doing business with people all across the world, we're not tied through a fiat currency that's going to be controlled or manipulated, right? All of a sudden, we're going to be able to get into a cryptocurrency, right? Where we'll be able to transfer our value to another person at another part of the world. And without the 25% commission fees that you have to pay to the big guys who can afford to build their software applications so that they can get all the humans together and put us in a pen and then make money off of every single one of us, right? No, boom, 5D New Humans. We're outside of the box. We're in the new earth and we're making those plans. That's what this 5dnewhuman.com website is all about. Anyway, if I haven't offended you, and if you're not upset with what you heard, maybe you are in 5D. Hopefully you're burning up and you're kind of irritated and you're kind of feeling sweaty and you can feel the heat in your body because that's frequency. That's frequency. 5D New Human frequency. I love you. I thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm truly blessed that you're here. And after you come back, I'll be here next week too. And of course, you can go back and listen to my many, many bloviating sessions sharing boom, boom, my love and light. Peace.